This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Follow this old river down to where the poppies grow, and drink that cool water till I get my fill. And take me
Rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, yes, forget the corporate bullshit, because that's what we need to do around here. Anyways, how are you? I hope everything is good and grand inside of your neck of the woods. It's so important to mention that, because listen, as we start together, as we do the stuff together, I want to make sure that things are going well for you. And if they're not going well, let's see what we can do to change your mood. I think those things are always important. So let's start talking right away, because that's important. Today's Thursday, December the 7th of 2023, day 341 of the year, and only 24 days left to go. Yep. That's when that 2023 thing goes away and it becomes that 2024 thing. So there you go. A lot of stuff, a lot of things to do, a lot of things to talk about, but we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio in USA, Canada, UK.
Yeah, we do a little bit of everything going across the multiverse, going across the things that we do, going across the fun and the tids and the bits and all that kind of fun stuff. So don't worry about what the hell we have going on, because it's always interesting. It's always interesting to talk, share, move, groove. No doubt about that. So there you go. Why don't we start talking right away about what the hell is trending?
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so as I take a look at the trends of the ends of the end, an Australian moonlander gets a name, and Mickey D's has some grand plans. We'll talk about that as we get into the shit list. Also, Cardi B and Offset appear to be done, and Limp Bizkit announces a new tour. Hugh Grant did not have fun while filming Wonka, and there was more drama brewing on Yellowstone. We'll get into some of the details of that during hour 2 and 3. So let's talk. If you want to interact with the show, it's a simple process on doing so. Let me explain what needs to be done. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com, and that'll get everything moving and grooving for you. Like, seriously, it's the simplest process. Once you get there, everything's set up. You just click. Now, it does request some information because I need to know who the hell you are. I mean, that's kind of a process in regards to doing that. So that will get you into our system. Once you get into it, boom, we're there. We get moving, we get grooving, and we do our thing. You and I. Just you and I. Saying, hey, it's time. What a time to be alive, right? So there you go. That's it. That's a simple process. That is as simplistic as it gets in regards of what we do. So what do you think? You can like it, not like it. It's fine. We talk about it because why would we not talk about it? So let me tell you a little bit about this show because I think it's important to always give a descriptor because I want you to know what the hell you're getting involved in. I don't want you to land on this and be like, I didn't know this. So here's how it goes. We talk about safety in the news. So we talk about safety, we talk about the news, or we talk about the news, and then we talk about safety. And it's kind of a mixture of everything. It's a mixture of the things that happen. It's a mixture of how to evolve. Yeah, that's what it is. You know, it's Thursday. And, you know, some people sit back and talk about how this is Friday Junior, which I still don't understand how that even makes any sense, but we'll leave it there. So, because I guess, should I leave it there? Because then I would have to go back and like, what the hell is Saturday? And then what's Sunday? But that's a whole other thing. But here's the thing. I don't get super excited about the day of the week that it corresponds to because I think you need to really love what you're doing. So when we get in towards the end of the week, I'm not more ecstatic about the end of the week occurring opposed that I am to the beginning of the week. So there you go. So let's talk because there's a couple of things that I want to address. What's your plan for the holidays? Are you going to be gone? Are you going somewhere? Are you doing anything fun? The reason that I ask this is for the following reason. Depending on how the school district is in your area, your kid might potentially be off for 2 weeks. Like, math-wise, that's what it equates to. It's about 2 weeks, give or take. Because most school districts will be closed from at least the afternoon of the 22nd. And a good chunk of them are not starting school back up until the 8th of January. Yeah, the 8th of January. That's some time away. I mean, that's some time. So you can plan on taking a hike if you want to. So what do you think? I don't know. I normally don't try to travel for the holidays. That's just me personally. Because, you know, there's a lot of people trying to do the exact same thing. So I'm just trying to figure out what your plan is. Because I want to know. Maybe we can do some stuff together. You never know. So with that being said, let's talk about this. We do have some professional broadcasters that come inside of this joint and talk about what the hell's going on. And I think it's time to do that right now. Have them come in and talk a little bit about everything that's going on. So with that being said, let's bring in some Mark Mayfield and let him tell you all about the news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Mark Mayfield. Former President Trump was a major topic of discussion at the fourth primary debate in Alabama. During the News Nation debate, former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie slammed Trump for being what he called an angry, bitter man. He claimed every other GOP hopeful was making a mistake defending the former president. Senate Republicans are blocking President Biden's request for Ukraine and Israel aid over a lack of U.S. border policy changes. Brian Shook reports.
The more than $100 billion national security package failed to get enough votes to move forward in the chamber Wednesday evening. Republicans have conditioned support for the U.S. allies for tighter restrictions on asylum and other immigration programs as there's been a spike in migrant crossings at the U.S.-Mexico border. This comes as U.S. officials have warned critical aid for Ukraine in its war with Russia is running out. I'm Brian Shook.
A Democratic ban on assault-style weapons has been blocked by Senate Republicans. The motion put forward Wednesday by Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer would have reauthorized the assault weapons ban that passed in 1994 and expired 10 years later. The ban would have covered certain semi-automatic weapons and large-capacity magazines. Republican Senator John Barrasso blocked the motion, arguing the bill would label responsible gun owners as criminals. Taylor Swift is Time Magazine's 2023 Person of the Year. Trey Thomas fills us in.
Time editor-in-chief Sam Jacobs made the announcement on the Today Show.
There are a number of different choices that could have represented 2023, but we picked a choice, someone who represents joy.
The magazine awards the title to the individual, group, or concept that has the most influence on the world. I'm Trey Thomas.
And Sean Diddy Combs is being accused of gang raping a 17-year-old girl in 2003. The lawsuit marks the fourth sexual assault allegation against Combs in recent weeks. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Israel's reacted angrily after the UN Secretary-General warned the humanitarian system in Gaza may completely collapse. President Biden's push to pass tens of billions of dollars in new aid for Ukraine has stalled in the Senate. The US military is grounding all of its Osprey aircraft after a crash in Japan last week, and UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's trying to hold his government together after his immigration minister resigned.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
There's been a surge of anti-Semitism following the October attack on Israel. Congressman Chip Roy is furious that the Biden Justice Department has largely stood on the sidelines.
The Civil Rights Department appears to be standing idly by while Jewish Americans have their civil rights violated by radical pro-Palestinian protesters.
The Texas Republican says the DOJ must return to nonpartisan work of protecting all Americans. Across the country, anti-Semitism has reared its ugly head on college campuses and in cities. This past weekend, pro-Palestinian protesters surrounded a Jewish-owned restaurant in Philadelphia that's just 1 mile away from Independence Hall. 3 top university presidents were confronted for refusing to explicitly say whether calls for genocide of Jewish people violate campus rules on harassment. New York Republican Elise Stefanik asked the question directly to the presidents of Harvard, MIT, and UPenn during a congressional hearing Tuesday. All 3 presidents said the answer depended on the context. Harvard President Claudine Gay said if the speech crosses into conduct, the university would take action. The Pentagon says that all of the military's tilt-rotor Osprey aircraft have been grounded. Phil Farrar has the latest.
This comes 1 week after 8 Air Force Special Operations Command service members died in a crash off the coast of Japan. The U.S.-made Osprey is a hybrid aircraft that takes off and lands much like a helicopter, but can rotate its propellers forward and cruise much faster like an airplane during flight. The Air Force, Navy, and Marine Corps taking the extraordinary step of grounding nearly 500 aircraft after a preliminary investigation of last week's crash indicated a material failure, that something went wrong with the aircraft and not a mistake by the crew, led to the deaths. I'm Phil Farrar.
And the Belmont Stakes will move upstate next year. New York Governor Kathy Hochul has announced the 2024 Belmont Stakes will move to the Saratoga Racecourse to allow work to continue uninterrupted on a new and modernized Belmont Park, the Long Island home of the third leg of the Triple Crown. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute? When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you. You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, class. Let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him at the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow. Awesome. Where were you, Jill?
Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, yes, you are listening to something magical, all right, as we are 17 minutes past the top of the hour, hanging out on this lovely Thursday and getting to do all the fun stuff that we get to do around here because we are with you, which is such an important factor into everything that we do have going on. So don't doubt that. Don't have any questions about it, because that is the foray of stuff that we have going on that we always tend to enjoy and look back and go, hey, what a time to be alive. Oh, you'll know that if you listen to the second hour, exactly where I'm going there. Anyway, so let's start talking right away about the shit list, because that is always important to talk about. Wikipedia announced that its most popular article of the year this week, so we need to talk about it. And it sounds something like this. The write-up on ChatGPT led the list of nearly 50 million page views. The page is pages on significant death with $42.6 million. In the Cricket World Cup with 38.1. And I said 31 point, what did I say? $42.6 million, because that's what I normally talk about, is millions of dollars. So there you go. So I meant people. So views. There you go. And then the Cricket World Cup with 38.1 million views. Indian Premier League, 32 million views. And the movie Oppenheimer, 28.3 million views. Rounded to the top. So there you go. That's the Wikimedia Foundation. So there you go. Some stuff to give some consideración to. Some things to look at and go from that whole cluster F. No doubt about it. Anyways, despite the dueling release windows between Oppenheimer and Barbie, the former got more than 10 million more page views on Wikipedia, though that also suggests more about the type of person who turns to Wikipedia for information. So that's some stuff to give some serious consideration to as we are talking, because that is for sure one of those interesting things. I don't think a lot of people that went to go see Barbie are looking it up on Wikipedia. I mean, I'm just saying, I could be absolutely wrong in that particular regard. So there you go. Some information always taking a look and gandering all around about all the stuff that is happening inside of there. No doubt about it. So what do you think? What do you think as I mentioned that, say this, and all that kind of fun stuff? I don't know. So anyways, a study of penguins suggests that Antarctica birds only sleep for seconds at the time during the week as they lay eggs, while they end up clocking around, 11 hours of sleep a day. The rest comes from micro sleeps, a habit that they continue and for about 4 seconds at a time and fend off the threat of predators. Typically, one parrot performs the intermittent dozing, while the other goes off to hunt. Researchers use more than just observation studies on relying the sensors that they carefully apply to 14 adults penguins in the span of 11 days. So there you go. Some stuff going on right there as we are talking. So no doubt about that. So what do you think? What do you think as this comes up and moves and grooves? Some interesting stuff. So there you go. No doubt about that. No doubt about that one. So the Australian Space Agency is indulging in a public voting contest with the name of Lunar Lander and plans to send it to the moon in 2026. Aussies decided that to call the machine Rover, a nod to the country's native kangaroo population. Rover will also ride on NASA's ship for the mission. Nearly 20,000 Australians participated in naming for the contest via space.com. So what do you think as I say this? Some interesting things for sure. Anyways, while tech companies brace for layoffs, McDonald's has its eyes on a type of massive global expansions. The Arches has announced that it's expanding to 50,000 locations by 2027, and currently has about 42,000 restaurants worldwide. A good chunk of new locations include expansions in China through a licensing deal that is essentially managed by the Chinese Communist Party. The U.S. will get about 900 more McDonald's, and the rest of the world will get about 1,900 locations. This is all via NBC News. This is where I'm getting the information from. So what do you think? I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting when you kind of think about the whole thing overall. I mean, do you need that kind of McDonald's in your life? So there you go. Anyway, selfie sabotage. What would you have been a peaceful gondola ride in Venice turned into a polar plunge thanks to some selfie taking tourists. As the gondola tried to maneuver the vessel under a bridge, he asked his passengers to please sit still at the top of rocking the boat. Instead of listening to him, the group kept on to get up to get the perfect photo, causing the gondola to sway and eventually tip over, landing them into the freezing water. Thankfully, no one was actually reported hurt, but they were a little wet. So there you go. Some things to think about as we are talking. Makes it some interesting times. No doubt about that as we are talking. This is, of course, coming from the New York Post. So it makes it pretty interesting overall, no doubt, as we are talking about that. So what do you think? I'm just asking your thoughts because, it's important. It is a portion of our conversation of what you think is going on, because why would you not want to talk a little bit more about this? Because it's always important in regards to that. So did you hang out last night and take a listen to all the GOP debate? Because there was a lot of stuff, and I'm almost afraid to start talking about this, because last time it seems like we went down the rabbit hole that never ended, in particularly in regards of talking about all of this stuff. So what do you think? Should we gander into this today, or should we go, let's stay away from it? I mean, I don't know. Anyways, let's do this real quick. Let's bring some Aaron Royale into our life, and let's do some Money Matters, because that seems to be important.
Consumers are adjusting their budgets as they expect to spend even more this holiday season. Rory O'Neill reports.
It's the height of the holiday shopping season, and American consumers say they're preparing to spend even more. A Gallup poll finds Americans expect to spend, on average, $975 on gifts. That's $100 more than a year ago, $50 more than what they thought they'd be spending when asked in October. The Gallup survey finds young and middle-income shoppers are more likely to spend more this holiday season. I'm Rory O'Neill.
Disney will release 3 Pixar movies in theaters early next year after they were only available on Disney Plus during the pandemic. Silvana Anau has more.
Soul will hit the big screen on January 12th, Turning Red on February 9th, and Luca in March. Each movie will be accompanied by a short film. Tickets go on sale January 2nd, and the theater releases could help Disney's bottom line as it's only slated to put out 1 Marvel film next year, which is Deadpool 3, and 1 Pixar movie, Inside Out 2.
Bets against the value of Israeli companies spiked in the days before the October 7th Hamas attacks, suggesting some traders may have had advanced knowledge of the looming terror attack and profited from it. The paper was written by a former SEC commissioner who's currently a professor at NYU in conjunction with a Columbia law professor and details a significant and unusual spike 5 days before the attacks in short selling in the most popular funds linked to Israeli companies. Bets against the value of the MSCI Israeli Exchange Traded Fund in the days before the October 7th attack far exceeded normal short selling activity. The authors don't know the location of the parties making trades or whether the traders were connected to any particular financial firm, government entity, or terrorist organization. Consumer and business news, Aaron Rayal, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Aaron, for that information right there on what the hell is going on in this lovely world of ours, because that is what you do. You tell us how it is, and we kind of go from there. Anyways, the Dow lost about 70 points to close at 36,054 on Wednesday. The S&P lost about 17 points to close at 4,549, and the NASDAQ lost about 83 points to close at 14,146. West Texas Intermediate closed at $69 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $74 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.21 on Wednesday. Bitcoin rally slowed on Wednesday, dipping back under $44,000. There was more than 1,650 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Wednesday, and about 70 such cancellations. Friday night's Mega Million drawing will be for a $395 million jackpot or $188.2 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game can be played. Why am I trying to sing to that? I mean, I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. Anyway, so it is 27 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's talk a little bit more about some of the things that are going on inside of the world. A new study finds that Iowa is among the top 5 states of the nation that increases mental health problems. More by David Bowe.
Addiction Treatment Magazine reviewed data from the Centers for Disease Control and found Iowa had the 4th highest increase in mental health problems since 2022. According to the study, roughly 26% of Iowa adults say they struggle with mental health, about 0.75% higher than last year. I'm Dave Bowl.
Okay, so what do you think? Are you in Iowa? What are you thinking here when you hear this? Is this news to you, or are you kind of not surprised? I'm just asking the question because, listen, it seems to go all over the place, as we do have the conversation, no doubt about it, because that is the way that the cookie crumbles, baby. Anyways, a pregnant woman in Texas is suing the state to allow her an emergency abortion. Scott Carr has more info.
The lawsuit's believed to be the first of its kind since Texas banned virtually all abortions after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade last year. Doctors for 31-year-old Kate Cox of Dallas say her fetus has a condition that virtually guarantees it will only live for a day or two, if it's not born dead, and that the pregnancy threatens her own health and her chances of ever becoming pregnant again. The suit asks that doctors be allowed to end the pregnancy without threat of legal action. I'm Scott Carr.
So what do you think when you hear something along these lines? Is it something that should be allowed, or should it not be allowed? That's the question. And, you know, this will be the debate from the on time going, because there's just a lot of questions behind that right there. Let's continue talking a little bit. The Colorado Springs Downtown Partnership is asking the community to help out some small businesses impacted by fire earlier this week at the Majestic Building. Haley Sardi, co-owner of the local Honey Collective, says that the smoke from the fire seeped into the fabric of their clothes.
Most all of our inventory that was damaged by the smoke, we don't really have anything we can sell right now.
The Downtown Partnership encouraging the community with an emergency promotion to buy gift cards to help local shop owners who cannot open during the busy holiday season. City officials estimate that the shops will generally do up to a third of their annual sales between Thanksgiving and Christmas. For every gift card sold between the value of $50 and $25, the Downtown Development Authority will make a matching donation to the business. Downtown Partnership Marketing Communications Director Carrie Simmons says that the idea is like buying time.
Obviously, they both have insurance, but while they're waiting for that, there's still things happening and they're not able to bring money in. If you can go online and spend $10 on a gift card and then once they're back open, come in and use that gift card, every little bit helps.
I have to tell you, there's a lot of thoughts that come into there, but it's going to sound like a Debbie Downer if I say it, so let's not do that. Here, let's do this. Let's have Mark Mayfield talk to you about what the hell's going on with politics today.
Former President Trump was front and center at the 4th GOP primary debate in Alabama. On News Nation last night, former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie slammed Trump for being what he called an angry, bitter man. He claimed every other GOP hopeful is making a mistake defending Trump. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said that Trump is basically too old for the job. The White House is accusing Republicans of holding Ukraine funding hostage over their demands for U.S. border policy changes.
If they don't get 100% of their extreme demands, they'll block critical border funding and kneecap Ukraine on the battlefield, damaging our national security.
Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said Republicans in both chambers are doubling down on an all-or-nothing approach on immigration. Republicans are calling for tighter restrictions on asylum and other immigration programs in exchange for Ukraine aid. And former Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy says he will resign from Congress at the end of the year. This comes after McCarthy was the first Speaker of the House to be ousted from power in the middle of their term. That's politics. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Mark Mayfield, for that. I think that's the versionality that we should probably go with, opposed to the long teeter-totter that we could go into. Anyways, take a listen to this. 3 Chicago aldermen are calling for the resignation of 7 officials from Mayor Brandon Johnson's administration over the failed Bridington Park migrant campsite. Alderman Anthony Beal spoke after he, Raymond Lopez, and Anthony Napolitano sent a letter to the mayor demanding that those involved with the Brighton Park site to resign.
And they should not be employed and being paid for spending and wasting tens of millions of dollars.
The letter comes, the day after the governor's office announced that the state wouldn't proceed with the migrant base at 38th Street and California Avenue due to concerns over contamination. The mayor's office released a statement defending those involved, saying that they are doing serious work in addressing the urgency in the migrant matter. Hold on. Wasn't it a few weeks ago us having a conversation about this, and we were talking about how they had already done some case studies to verify that everything was good to move forward there? I mean, I could swear that we had this conversation here. Not that I'm involved by any means. I'm just saying we had a conversation about it. Let's make sure that we're clear. But there's other issues that are going on there. I mean, let's just make sure that we understand that as well, because that's going to be an important process to the whole thing. Anyway, it's currently 33 minutes past the top of the hour. I think it is time for us to do that thing that we do around now.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Yes, it's called The Main Story for a reason, because it is the story of the main. It is the main thing that we base the stuff off of. Sometimes people go, how the hell do you come up with the titles? Well, the main story bases the title on what the hell is going on. That's just the way that it goes. I mean, how else would we come up with the title? And that's it. Don't worry. The title of the show is always a hard one because I never know what the hell we're going to talk about. So there you go. So let's do this. Let's talk a little bit. And that's kind of the portion that I really want to talk about, is about talking. Because the more I get to interact with organizations, I tend to see that we do a lot of what I call talk. Yeah, take a listen to me. I heard a lady by the name of Michelle Lewis say this, and she says talk. And it's interesting because when I heard the concept, I was like, I get it. But we have workplaces, and we even have people in workplaces that are really good at the talk. And that's what they seem to sell. That seems to be what they are referencing that is going to move forward within the organization. They do a lot of the talk, but there's not a lot of action in regards to the stuff that needs to be done. And I'm not trying to be an asshole as I'm saying this, because some people will get all hot and bothered that I start talking about these things. But I look at it from the standpoint and go, we get to the point in organizations that we do a lot of talk and don't have a lot of actions behind the stuff that we're doing. Listen, I understand to get plans put into place, you have to do the talk. But sometimes you have to do the walk to be able to go forward. You have to be able to put the things that you said into action. Now, let's be clear here. Not every conversation that you have is going to be something that's going to work within your organization. That being the talk portion, just to be clear. Sometimes that talk needs to change, and we need to walk on the actions that we want to do. And I take a look a lot at models. Not those kind of models, by the way. But I take a look at modeling. Let's make sure that I explain this. That we have concepts and ideas that we want to put into place, and they might not work out. And that is okay. But what frustrates me with a good chunk of organizations is that they sit back and talk about that they're going to do X, Y, and Z. And we might have this conversation in quarter 1. We're in quarter 4. And none of the stuff that was talked about ever does occur. So at what point do we start going from the talk to the walk? Because opposed to talking about it, maybe we should consider walking down the things that we said we're going to put into place. Now, think about it for a moment. How many ideas have been drawn up inside of a boardroom? How many ideas have been talked about that we're going to move forward and do, and 0.0 gets done? I'm just saying. I want you to think about this for a moment. How can you do things differently inside of your organization? How can you do things differently opposed to you just being flavor of the week or someone who just does the talk? Maybe you don't want to be known as the talk. Maybe you want to be known as the walk because you're pulling the stuff off that needs to be done. Not just you, but your team members and the people in your organization.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly. Less than $2 a month and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and it's not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
And she makes me want to sing a song. I'm in love with a woman, and she makes me want to build a home. I'm in love with a woman, and she makes me want to sing a song. I'm in love with a woman, and she makes me want to build a home. Work hard all day, stone by stone for the night to come. There's no sleep like that of tired bones. And rub my hands and whisper to me about tomorrow. About the kids and the house and how we don't have much, but it's enough.
Okay, here we are. Rated R Safety Show.
And she makes me want to sing a song.
Oh, yeah. You're still listening. Apparently, we're taking the slower tones today.
She makes me want to build a home.
This right here that you're taking a listen to, besides the dulcet tones that I have going on, this right here is Build a Home by Jeffrey Martin.
I'm in love with a woman.
Yeah, he seems to be in love and talking about it and singing about it, baby. There's no doubt. I mean, that's what you do when you're in love. You just want to tell the world on what's going on. So good for him. You make me want to build a home, baby. Who calls anybody baby anyways? So here's the gig. If you want to take a listen to Build a Home by Jeffrey Martin, you can go to YouTube Music. You can go to Spotify. You can go to Apple Music. We want to thank Jeffrey Martin for allowing us to play this one here. Because listen, it's always a good time sitting back, talking, playing some music. I will bring people over to my house. And we don't even have to talk. Let's just sit around and listen to some jams together, because I think it is such a joyous time in life. Being able to turn to something that can bring so much joy to people. And I'm just talking about music. And as you can tell, I am a music aficionado. I love me some good music. Give me some good music, and we will, sit around and play all day.
Quiet all these voices.
Jeffrey's going to town over here. So anyways, with that being said, let's get back into it, because if not, I will listen to music all day long, because that is just what I do. But I have something very important to tell you. And if anything, this might be the most important thing that I tell you in my whole lifetime. And this is about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. And I guess sometimes I don't give enough information as we start talking about this. But people need people. We need to be able to talk about mental health. We need to be able to talk about things that we're not happy about. We need to talk about things that bring us anxiety, things that actually cause us to be depressed. Because I think that sometimes we are scared. It is not okay because of societal norms for some people to be able to talk about this. But I think that this is where the change in conversation needs to happen. We need to be able to talk about this without any issues whatsoever. And know that there are resources that are available for you out there. So I want to tell you about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. So no matter what you're facing, you deserve, yes, you deserve to be connected to help. To Write Love on Her Arms wants you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's To Write Love on Her Arms. TWLOHA.com. Go to the section that says Find Help. You will be amazed on, number one, the amount of information that's on this website, but the amount of things that they can connect you to in regards to being able to move forward. So, TWLOHA.com. And I want to make sure that we're clear here. I think that this is such an important subject matter that we need to talk about it every day. If you and I hang out and we do anything together, I want you to know how important this is. Seriously. I want you to know that we can have a conversation that, listen, I am going through struggles. Hey, listen, I am having a hard time with X, Y, and Z. I will tell you that during this time of the year, it is extremely difficult for some people. And that is okay. That's okay to talk about. It's okay to talk about that I need time. I need time to think. I need time to myself. Those are okay. Some people have such a hard time with this, but no, it is okay to take time for yourself. And have a discussion with someone that, hey, I am facing this and it is challenging. What can I do? So TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms, click on the section that says Find Help. Let's continue talking a little bit. Let's talk real quick about some raw truth. Maybe that's a good thing to do. So sushi tonight, huh? A Japanese study has found that a spicy green topping wasabi could be very good for your memory. Going into research, the team at Tohoku University knew that wasabi was linked to the wealth of healthy benefits such as antibiotics, anti-cancer, anti-inflammation properties, but they say they were surprised to see the dramatic change in participant cognitive issues they might have had. In the 12-week study, they found that test participants who consumed wasabi extract of 6-MSITC regularly showed about a 18% improvement in long and short-term memory. Researchers believe the wasabi extract lowered the levels of oxidants and inflammation in their, hippocampus, the part of the brain that's responsible for memory. So I'm not so much of a sushi person, but I can get some of that stuff for a hot dog, though. So there you go. So the information makes me so happy. Sorry about the roll there, because there you go. You get it? Me so happy. You get it? Me so? Okay, anyways. So there you go. Some stuff to think about. What do you think? So are you going to make it a wasabi night is really what it boils down to. That is, that will be the question that will occur next, because that's what people do. Wasabi. So let's talk about this real quick. A teen boy claims that he also was attacked by a man that was accused of sucker punching a grandfather in Calabasas. The 14-year-old boy says that the man assaulted him at a random bike path on Tuesday. Take a listen.
Just came up from behind me and like grabbed me and like, I don't know, he tried to hit the back of my head first and then he tried kneeing my body for some reason. I protected myself pretty good. I hit him in the stomach, but it wasn't really that effective.
So cue that effective. The boy was able to run away and escape with minor injuries, including scratches and a busted lip. The suspect, who was arrested in Oxnard on Wednesday, he also was accused of sucker punching a man who was pushing his grandchild in a stroller in Calabasas on Tuesday. The boy says the man didn't say a word when he attacked him.
That was basically, he just walked off, like didn't say anything.
So there you go. Didn't say anything. Didn't say anything. So keep that in mind as we are talking. So what do you think? I don't know. It gets pretty interesting as we are here. Let's jump real quick, because I have a story that I was browsing through this morning that was coming out of Tampa. Police announced a second arrest in connection of the October 29th shooting in Ybor City. Chief Lee Burkaw announced that the charges as the family of the victim of Harrison Moonstopple watched.
We're able to announce new charges against 14-year-old Caden Abney in relation to the death of their son.
Burkaw says the video and ballistic evidence ties Abney to the shots that killed Boonstall. Abney has several pending juvenile cases and due to leave custody when police arrested him on the murder charges. State Attorney Susan Lopez says that Caden Abney has several charges in juvenile system, but this time he'll be tried as an adult.
I want to send a message to juveniles in our community. If you choose to shoot another person, you will be held accountable.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing to hold people accountable for. I mean, what else could we say here? I mean, I don't get it, but hey, yeah, it makes sense on why this has to be discussed. Of course it makes sense in regards to this. Let me give you one more real quick. Governor Jared Polis sent a letter to President Biden on Tuesday asking his administration to ease federal marijuana laws. Cliff Gordon with Urban Underground says that the move would help ease how he runs his business.
As a business, we can't write off staffing. We can't write off store fixtures. We can't write off anything that you see in the store that isn't product.
5 other Democratic governors supported this letter and asked that the Biden and the DEA reschedule marijuana from a Schedule 1 to a Schedule 3. Schedule 1 drugs are considered to have no medical use that include heroin and LSD. Schedule 3 drugs, on the other hand, such as ketamine and anabolic steroids, are considered to have some medical use and are less strictly regulated. If marijuana is rescheduled, it would allow cannabis businesses to take ordinary tax deductions and also probably allow you to pay for it with a credit card. But that's a whole other conversation for a different day. Anyways, 53 minutes past the top of the hour. I think it's time to bring some John Smalls into our life for him to tell us about the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Josiah. Theodore Roosevelt said, "The only man who never makes mistakes is the man who never does anything." I love this. I know some perfectionist type people who are never, ever ready to pull the trigger on their new ideas. They wait until it's 100% finished, or they'll wait until they feel like it's done. Sadly, that window can close on you if you wait too long. We have many imperfect things that have become a huge success because while their competitors were perfecting their plan, these shrewd people were selling their idea. They're getting people to fall in love with what they have to offer. Sometimes they need to adjust things along the way, but now they have a customer base. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
The Federal Aviation Administration is creating a new committee to address pilots' mental health struggles. FAA administrator says recommendations will be presented by March on ways to get rid of the stigmas and barriers that pilots face in dealing with mental health issues. A report this summer found pilots tend to be discouraged from reporting their mental health conditions because they fear the potential impact on their careers and financial hardship. A Florida family is suing Panera Bread over the death of a man who drank their charged lemonade drink.
The lawsuit alleges 46-year-old Dennis Brown died from drinking Panera's charged lemonade drink. A lawyer for Brown's family says the only thing that had changed in the weeks before his death health-wise was that Brown started drinking the lemonades. Panera denies the drink led to Brown's death, and I'm Scott Carr.
ChatGPT might not be a reliable source for medication-related questions. A study by pharmacists at Long Island University found that the free version of ChatGPT provided inaccurate or incomplete answers to some questions about drugs. Health update, Scott Pringle, NBC News Radio.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
Of course it's a pitfall because I'm running the damn thing. So there you go. Anyways, 55 minutes past the top of the hour. So let's talk about some things that are going on inside of this world, or maybe that happened more along the time during this day. So let's talk about this. Back in 2020, to the amazement of a lot of people, Bob Dylan sells his entire catalog of over 600 songs to Universal Music Publishing Group for over $300 million. Dylan has sold more than 125 million records and continues to perform worldwide. That happened back on this date in 2020. Let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. Pete Alonso turns 29. Clara Berry and Jasmine Villegas turns 30. Emily Browning turns 35. John Moxley turns 38. John Terry, 43. Sarah Balearis turns 44. Terrell Owens turns 50. Larry Bird turns 67. Johnny Bench turns 76. And that's about the highlights that we have right there. What else? If you want to talk about celebrating some days of the year today, well, we have some of those. It's National Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day, International Civil Aviation Day, and National Cotton Candy Day. So there you go. Some things to think about if you are so inclined to do so. So there you go. Anyway, some whack facts for you real quick. Termites eat wood twice as fast when listening to heavy metal music. The name for lint and gathering in the bottom of a pocket is called gurn. Buttermilk does not contain any butter. With 2 forks and a charge, a pickle will emit light. Most liquid laundry detergent contains living organisms that help to break down the stains, and 1/3 of Taiwanese funeral processions include a stripper. Yeah, I mean, look it up if you don't believe me, because I know it sounds a little out of the ordinary, if you know what I'm saying. So there you go. Anyways, if you need a random joke for today, I have one of those for you. I'm really good at stuff until somebody watches me do that stuff. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What's the most annoying noise? Don't say my voice. Jeez, man. Okay, if you need a question for the water cooler, try this. 70% of us agree this is our biggest holiday pet peeve. What is it? Waiting in a line. Waiting in line is the number one pet peeve. So there you go. Anyways, at the top of the hour, I'll be going over to radiobig.fm if you're not already hanging out right there. So I will be taking over for the next 2 hours after this show and doing the things that we get to do over there, talking about the world of music and entertainment. So you're more than welcome to come out over there and take a listen to what the hell we have going on, because, hey, that's what we do. Outside of that, if you want to stay on Safety FM, you can do that and hang out with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he's talking about the world of safety consulting. Yep, that's what happens here. So there you go. 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 So a lot of stuff. Sometimes to do things, sometimes not to do things, and all that is there. Anyways, thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, it does not make a lot of sense to do what we do around here. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Confidence is contagious. So is the lack of it. Think about that. Anyways, I know who you are. Duh. You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
Work hard all day, stone by stone for the night to come.